Hey everybody, my name is Strimtom, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new patch notes for update 39 coming to Dungeons & Dragons today, this afternoon. So we're going to talk about this today ahead of time. We're going to go over some of the things, the details, things you want to pay attention to, and what you want to know about. For starters, new quests. White Plume Mountain and Other Tales is going to be an exciting quest pack. I've gotten the chance to play through some of the quests. They're very cool. On the website, which there'll be a link to the update release notes in the description of this video, you can read through all the details here. The quest covers are in the 12, and you'll be able to do the quests this afternoon when they release. They come in different level ranges. All of them are level 6 in Heroic, except for White Plume Mountain, which is level 9, which is going to be a big, expansive quest. Level 32 Legendary. Whereas the other quests, while they're all level 6 in Heroic, they're going to be at 21, 23, and 25. It's a weird little breakdown, but I don't know why it's just being done that way. On top of that, we're going to talk about the Falconry Universal Enhancement Tree today. Treasure of Crystal Cove item update, which is going to be coming soon. And that sort of thing. So to start out, daily dice, there's a couple changes. So the Titan's Grip and Alchemical Intimidate potions now drop in stacks of 3, which is great because getting one potion just feels really shallow. Guiding Hands no longer appear in the tier 8 of gold rolls. You can still get them, but they just don't appear in that high tier, so it kind of stops it from being watered down. A few cosmetics were appearing in both tier 7 and tier 8 of gold tables. This has been fixed, which means those cosmetics are now moving up to tier 8, so get lucky. And there's been new cosmetics added to the daily dice tables. They're very cool. In the DDO store, in addition to having the actual adventure pack, there's actually going to be a special bonus adventure pack. So instead of the White Plume Mountain and Other Tales adventure pack, there's going to be like a White Plume Adventures and Other Tales special pack that you can buy for all those players that are already they already own the pack or they're a VIP like myself. I find myself never ever buying adventure packs because it's a big waste of time because I'm just VIP. This way, instead, it's going to be like a bonus pack where it's going to give you stuff related to it. So there's the Cerulean Crown of the Wave cosmetic, Cerulean Crest of the Wave cosmetic armor. So you get a helmet and an armor, a tiny giant crab creature companion, sentient XP stones worth 5,000 XP each, which is very convenient, and the Falconry Universal Enhancement Tree. That's really cool. I like this idea. It's great. It's a good idea. Pretty much like all the other games do this, so it makes sense that the DDO store is doing it. A game that does this is like Elder Scrolls Online. They release a pack, and then there's a premium pack where you get like a little cosmetic and some like XP scrolls or something. And then you're like, oh man, like I don't buy quest packs in that game because I'm also subscribed, but I just feel like I want to, you know? And they get more money out of me, so it's a good idea. Spend more money. Then you got changes to enhancements. Arcano Technician's 5th core now requires 18 Artificer levels. It was a bug. And Renegade Mastermaker's Paragon Body now reduces spell failure properly, which it didn't. So good bug fixes. Barbarians are getting updated. Big updates. So Frenzied Berserker, something with cracking attack, which doesn't matter. You're still not going to use it. Crazy Strike gives extra damage. You're still not going to use it. But the biggest thing is Focus Wrath now grants a +1 or +2 confidence bonus to critical multiplier. So first of all, this is the highest bonus critical multiplier outside of Swashbuckling. And it can actually be combined with Swashbuckling. So this is a little crazy. This is not required while raging either. Previously, Focus Wrath would give you a bonus +1 critical multiplier on or I think it was +2 on a 19 or 20. Now it's just +2. +2 all the time is fantastic. It's extremely powerful. And I think it is going to help push Barbarian into being like the build that you want it to be. I think the biggest problem with Barbarian is that everyone plays Ravager. Ravager is the best. It gives you critical threat range, and it also gives you blood strength. Now with this, you actually want to play Frenzy Berserker and take that tier 5. So this is going to shake up Barbarian completely. It's no longer just going to be people playing with 41 points in Frenzy Berserker to get their Storm's Eye, as well as picking up the 5th tier of Ravager to get blood strength and critical rage. No! Instead, people are actually going to be playing Frenzy Berserkers. But on top of that, Occult Slayers are getting some changes. All the Occult Slayer buffs are becoming unique, which means they stack with everything. So that includes the Parrying Bond, Guarding Bond. It used to be in Sight bonus. Now it's actually unique, so it'll stack with all the stuff you got. On top of that, Vicious Strike now deals a bunch of damage, which is whatever, doesn't matter. Anti-Magic Boost actually gives you magic resistance rating on top of what it does, so it's actually potentially useful. Driving Force, which gives you melee power, also gives magical resistance rating and also costs less, so you can actually potentially conceivably use this effect. Seeker Strike deals way more damage and costs less. And then Occult Metaline gives +1 confidence bonus, critical threat range, and multiplier. This means you can actually play Occult Slayer now. Occult Slayer is going to be pretty cool. They still have the one major problem of they are dead in the water against single target monsters. A big boss is going to kill you all day if you're an Occult Slayer because the only way you can heal is through one spirit. One spirit is an effect that costs weapon bond, and you cost 100. So that means you have to hit a boss 100 times before you can heal. Well, the boss is going to kill you before you can hit 100 times, so you still die every time to big bosses. But in big packs, your character is super tanky, super strong. I'm really looking forward to a Cult Slayer. And then you got Ravager. Ravager, hate doesn't matter. Mutilate doesn't matter. Slaughter doesn't matter. Slaughter doesn't even work, so that doesn't matter. Critical Rage is now cost less, and it doesn't require raging. So I don't know why it's still called Critical Rage, but yeah, it doesn't require raging anymore, which is just convenient. It's just nice. You don't always need to be raging. Altruism works. And you got Favorite Soul. Favorite Soul got a bunch of new changes. We're going to go over them really quickly. Favorite Soul, Angel of Vengeance. All the cores get better. So each Angel of Vengeance core now grants +1 cast level and maximum cast level with Nimbus Light, Searing Light, Sunbolt, Camouflage, Divine Punish, Flame Strike, and Firestorm. This is a completely new one. This wasn't on Lamania. This is complete insanity. This is really, 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 really powerful. This means that Nimbus Light is actually going to be a little bit better. But it means that Sunbolt, most importantly, is going to be bonkers. This means with only taking 1 feat, your Sunbolt is going to have a maximum cast level of 31. And if you go to Magister, you can get your maximum cast level for Sunbolt all the way up to 34. It's really, really, really good. So be excited for that. You're going to see a lot of cool light damage stuff. Archons are buffed, so they do 100% of your spell power. Vengeful Magic was buffed, so basically it was the effect that when your health went low, you got more powerful. Now when your health get low, it gives you a buff, so you can heal back up and you keep the extra benefit. And then the top tier, the Ascendancy, instead, there's a multi-selector, so you can either get +4 Wisdom or +4 Charisma based on whatever you skill off, and it gives you a Searing Light spell-like ability that costs nothing. You're not going to cast this, but it's there if you want to use it. Now, the actual changes to the individual parts of the tree, they got a Nimbus of Light spell-like ability. Animus and Scourge got combined, so that's great. Just Rewards, it's just gone. Instead, you get Articles of Faith, which is the thing that makes it so when you're using your favorite implement or favorite weapon, it counts as an implement. Now it's also got Just Rewards, so when you crit, you get temporary mana. You get Sunbolt, spell-like ability. This is crazy bonkers. This is the thing that's going to make Favorite Soul caster unbelievably super powerful and actually be good at leveling in the early game. So be excited for that. And finally, Comet Fall, spell-like ability. Woo! That's just awesome. It's just good. And then you get, it just feels really clean. It just feels really good. It just works. So that's good. And then you get Archon's Fury as well. So basically you can toggle a thing on your Archon, so every time it shoots, it actually causes a stacking fire dot. I don't know how good this is, but it could be good. So all in all, Favorite Soul, you're going to see a lot more caster Favorite Souls. And with this change to the maximum cast level of spells, you're going to see a lot of caster Favorite Souls. They're going to be really powerful, so get excited for that, everybody. Beacon of Hope, new tree. That's right. Finally, Favorite Soul is going to have a brand new tree, and this tree is fantastic. I'm really excited to get to try it out. The gist of it is healing in a different way than Cleric. So this tree, instead of healing like Cleric does with a bunch of like bursty AoEs and stuff, it has buffs and it has focused healing. So the first core is just for every core you get stats, positive spell power crit, healing up, and positive spell power. The crit actually matters because this tree gives you the most positive spell power crit in the game. So going to be good, obviously. Beacon of Grace. So you get beacon abilities. A beacon is a cone, so it shoots a frontal cone directly in front of you that heals all allies and damages all undead, and it scales off your spell power. So this, from actually playing with it, really powerful, really intuitive. You have to look at people, so you have to pay attention to where your friends are, but really powerful in that regard. Then you got Shining Light. Whenever you cast a beacon or use Flight of Glory, you give your allies bonus to healing amplification equal to your favorite soul level. So that's just good because it means your first beacon is going to hit them, and then if you're level 30, your second beacon is going to pump them up for 30 extra healing amp. So it's really good. I actually think the healing amp applies before they get healed. I'm not sure. I have to do some testing. It also gives like a glitter dust effect. I wonder if this kills eyeballs. I don't know. Then you got Beacon of Hope. Beacon of Hope is like Beacon of Grace, but it's got a bigger point cost, a bigger cooldown, but it heals 5 times as much. This spell is complete bonkers. I was using it on the the test server, and I was healing average 4,000 every time I used it, and it's an AoE. So you can just go boom, and this is almost as good as mass heal, but it's instantaneous. It also applies the heal effect. It's restoration, so it removes negative levels, remove paralysis, so it removes like hold, person, and all that other stuff. Then you get Flight of Glory. This wasn't working on Lamania, but when you use Leap of Faith, you get temporary hit points. You and all your allies get temporary hit points equal to trip your character level plus 50, and you get a True Resurrection spell-like ability. But it's got a multi-selector. You either get +4 Wisdom or Charisma, and you get maximum cast level to your positive spells, and your Hope and Beacon ability scale with your favorite soul level. They now add your epic level. So instead of it being like capping out at 20 for all your abilities, now cap out at 30. And of course, whether you use Wisdom or Charisma, that's what matters the most. So True Resurrection spell-like ability. You actually get a True Resurrection spell-like ability as well as a Raise Dead spell-like ability. And if you take the spell True Resurrection, you don't pretty much need to run any other raised dead. You don't need the raised dead spell. You don't need the resurrection spell, which gives you a lot more flexibility when leveling up. The actual tree in itself, you got crit chance going up. You got mana and stuff like that. You get a lot of tankiness. And then you got Good Hope spell-like ability, level 1. So at level 1, you can just go boom and pump up all your allies, give them all that +2 attack and saves. It's pretty good. Then you got next to your Close Wounds spell-like ability. Nobody casts a spell Close Wounds unless they're a Shirati caster, but now Close Wounds is super duper powerful. I was healing people for about 500 with Close Wounds and has a 1-second cooldown and 2 spell points. So you can just go like boom, 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 pump it out, keep healing people. Then you got Hopes. Hopes are abilities that they're little rotating buffs. When you cast a Hope on an ally, it affects them for 20 seconds, and it gives them a little bit of a buff. And it has a 6-second cooldown, which means you can cast Hope on one person, then you cast Hope on another, and then Hope on another, and you get a Hope, and you get a Hope. And they're just these little miniature buffs, but the more you pay attention, the more you roll them, and the more people you have affected by your buffs, the better it is for the whole party. So it's all about how you play. The first one gives you bonus to skills. I don't even know if I would take this. I probably won't, so it's interesting. You got Divine Might, or Might's Reward, which gives you bonus positive spell power equal to 5 plus either your Strength mod, Wisdom mod, or Charisma mod. This is kind of interesting. It's weird. It's a 2-pointer, or it's 3 points in the tree, and then if your Wisdom, like mine, I got my Wisdom, I think it goes up to 90 for 50 spell, or for 50, 50, what do you call it? Spell power. Is 50 spell power for 3 points worth it? I think probably. Not bad. And then you got Hope for Protections. This is a big one. Target ally gains sacred bonus to physical and magical resistance rating to 3 plus your favorite soul level. Which means if you're level 30, that's 33 physical and magical resistance rating. If you happen to have a bear tank or a fighter tank or hell, like a ranger just standing in front of you, that's really powerful. And because, again, 6-second cooldown, you can have this rolling on 3 people at the same time because you get a Hope. 6 seconds later, you get a Hope. 6 seconds later, you get a Hope. And 6 seconds after that, you hit the first person with the Hope. Efficient power healing, sure. There's a Death Ward spell-like ability, great for leveling, and then you spec out of it later. Hope for Victory allows you to apply your favorite soul level or half your favorite soul level in melee and range power. Again, awesome buff. You got a guy who's like, hey, you're rolling through all these buffs, and you're just keeping people pumped up. But then you got a guy who's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to use Fury Shot, or I've got a big cooldown I'm going to use. You just, okay, no problem. Boom, you hit them with that. Helps bump up their damage. You got Optimism. Every time you cast a Hope ability, you get a stack of Rising Beacon, which makes you tankier. So Hopes don't have a cost, so you can throw them out constantly, which means you should always be at 10 stacks. So this is basically saying 2 points for 20 physical and magical resistance rating and 10 armor class. Everybody should take that. It's the most ridiculous thing in the game. And then finally, Raise Dead spell-like ability, just great. Hope for Success. So it's the best hope in the game. Target ally gains +1 critical threat range and multiplier with weapons for 20 seconds. This is super powerful. Again, the guy goes, I'm going to be using my Fury Shot right now. You got your Moncture in the back. He's like, I'm going to be Fury Shotting. No problem. You just +1 critical threat range and multiplier, and he's just killing people with all that extra damage. It's really good. Same thing with the Heal spell-like ability. It's actually just the exact same thing as Heal spell, but the big difference is the spell-like ability. So you can quicken it, you can empower healing it, you can intensify it, and it doesn't cost more. So do look forward to that, and you can also enlarge it as well. And then you have Undying Beacon. Allies affected by your beacon gain a big unconsciousness range. Really good. And finally, Flame of the Favored. It didn't have this name in it. It used to be called Healing Wall. But Flame of the Favored, you basically create a wall in an area, and it heals people as long as they stand in the wall. It looks really cool. It was healing a lot. It was healing about 800 every couple of seconds on Lamania. It looks here like it's getting 1 hit point per 3 favorite soul levels. So I'm assuming that this is going to scale all the way up with this effect here, but I don't know because it was changed. Could be good or not. Then you got War Priest and War Soul. So War Priest and War Soul are some of the least used trees in the game because it's religious melee. A lot of people don't like to use that. So instead here, there's going to be a couple changes. Both of them are getting Smite Foe. The cooldown is being reduced, and it's going to get a ranged version. So good, thank you all the bow users. Sanctuary casts way faster, which is great because it's a good effect. It just takes too long to cast. A Warcaster now grants +1 confidence bonus to threat range with your favorite weapon in addition to its other benefits. And Implacable Foe's cooldown is reduced to 3 minutes. This is super cool because it means that if you're playing as a favorite soul, you can actually get bonus critical threat range. So clerics can get access to the War Domain, which allows them to cast Holy Sword to get +1 critical threat range and multiplier. Favorite souls couldn't do that. So instead, now you can get Warcaster, which just gives you +1 critical threat range, which is awesome. Same thing, we'll look at that later. Yeah, we'll look at that later. In Tier 2, you get Inflame, which is no longer an action boost, and instead, it's just has a cooldown, so you can constantly buff it out. the Wrathful or Righteous weapons, instead of giving a +1 enhancement bonus, it gives you +1 to hit and damage and +3 universal spell power. So now it's pumping up your spells as well. So it kind of gives you that it works together. And then you got Inflame is just a little bit better. Burden of Sin is now an effect called Radiant Flourish, which is a melee that blinds, which is very cool. I really like that. Ameliorating Strike is now a more powerful heal. It got its heal increased by 50%. So it's very, very powerful. I highly recommend you check out Ameliorating Strike. It's just a good sustain. You get double strike or double shot if you want to, and you have a melee silence, which again costs nothing, which is cool. And finally, the top tier Righteous Wrathful weapons, instead of giving +1 enhancement bonus, instead is going to give +3 to hit and damage, +9 universal spell power, and when you land a Vorpal, it's going to give you 10d6 light damage that lasts for 12 seconds. That scales with 200% melee range power, which means as long as you're actually attacking, you're always going to have this buff active, and this buff doesn't sound like a lot, but it's basically like 30d6 every time you attack, because most people have about 200 melee power, so that's going to be really good. Divine Vessel. I don't entirely understand what this does. Basically causes like a meteor or something. And now Divine Power also gives +6 Sacred bonus to Strength. When it didn't used to do that. It used to give like enhancement, so it didn't stack with items. Now, just for Cleric only, the top tier, Implacable Foe is either going to be Strength, +2 Strength and Constitution, or +2 Wisdom and Constitution. They get a new action boost, melee and range power. They're also going to get in tier 5. While wearing heavy armor, you gain physical resistance rating, magical resistance rating, armor class, and threat generation. So it makes you tankier. That's kind of cool. But if you're playing as a favorite soul, your Implacable Foe top tier is either going to give you +4 Strength, Wisdom, or Charisma, so you can really stack up that melee damage. Now you get action boost Haste, which is sick. And Divine Champion, while wearing medium armor, you gain 5% double strike, double shot, +5 to confirm critical hits and crit damage. And then Divine Power, it still gives you Sacred, but it's going to give you +1 critical multiplier with weapons. So you can get that both. Very cool. Man, we're not even halfway through this. I don't know how long this video is. All right, so next is Falconer. Falconer is really cool. Get excited for that. It's the new Universal Enhancement Tree. So the current Universal Enhancement Trees we have are Harper Agent, and then less than a year ago, we also got Vistani Knife Fighter. So you can expect more of these Universal Enhancement Trees coming forward. They really help broaden what we can do as players. So think about it like this. The Universal Enhancement Trees are something that everyone can use, so it doesn't matter what type of character or what type of player you are, you might want to try to use this. And it's really cool. I'm really glad these things are coming in. Let's talk about Falconer and what it is. Basically, you summon a Falcon, an avian companion. You can get White Falcon, Falcon, White Falcon, Gray Owl, Snow Owl, or Raven to be your hunting pet. While you have your hunting bird, you get +2 listen and spot checks. Basically what this means is if you have 1 point and you don't know where to spend it, put it right here and you get a Falcon that follows you all the time. It's very cool, probably irritating for other people. Then the actual cores, you get an ability score increase. You get Well-Rounded, which is just +3 melee, range, physical resistance, and magical resistance. Really, really good. Obviously, just amazing. That's like the best 1-pointer in the game. Choose an ability, so you get either strength, dexterity, charisma, whatever. It goes to any ability. And then Well-Rounded 2, +6 melee power, range power, physical resistance rating, magical resistance rating, +4 spot and listen. Now this is the best. This is the most stats per 1 point in the game. Pretty cool, actually. Good effect. And then finally, top tier, +2 to all ability scores. You benefit from the spell Freedom of Movement. So if you are a class that doesn't have Freedom of Movement, let's say you're playing a Rogue Falconer, or a Fighter Falconer, or a Barbarian Falconer, now you have Freedom of Movement. And your active Falcon attacks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Death from above, which we will talk about in a sec. The first tier, not crazy exciting, just some good generic useful buffs. Physical resistance rating, +1 to hit. Animals as a favorite enemy. Healing amplification. Bounce, jump, and swim. Cool stuff. Where it really starts to go up is tier 2 and higher. Tier 2, you get Killer Instinct. You can use Wisdom to hit. What? Which then goes into Killer Instinct 2 on tier 3. You can use Wisdom to damage. What? It's like Harper Agent. And then tier 4, Deadly Instinct Trance. You gain an Insight modifier equal to the DC of tactical feats. Insight modifier damage and DC of tactical feats equal to 1/2 your Wisdom modifier for 120 seconds. It almost sounds like it's Know the Angles. That's right. It's Wisdom-based Know the Angles, called Deadly Instinct Trance. As far as I know, the other Know the Angles ability, Know the Angles, is going to be called Know the Angles Trance. So it doesn't work with trance abilities. I think they're all going to be renamed. So that way you know that you can only use them with one ability. So that's pretty cool. So with this tree, if you're playing a class that wants to use Wisdom to hit and damage, you can. It's a bit of investment to get it in. To get Deadly Instinct, it's going to cost you 23 points of the tree. So it's a bit more than Harper Agent, which is only 12, which is why you see, the best monk builds out there are going and they're taking... They take Harper Agent, they get the Know the Angles for 8 points, and then they swap on a bunch of intelligence gear, cast Know the Angles, and then swap all their gear back. This is going to mean they don't have to swap their gear at all. They just leave it all on. So it's kind of cool. Then you get diving attack. Diving attack is where you're hunting bird and you attack a single target as one, and it causes a bunch of damage. So you attack, you hit the target basically, and it causes D3 damage. There's a bit of a delay, and then your hunting bird has the follow-up, does a crap load of damage, and then finally trips your target and causes them to become helpless. The trip is based on DC 10 plus character level plus wisdom plus assassinate. Assassinate's a weird bonus. I don't know why assassinate was used for this tree. Well, I do know why. They said it was because they wanted to have like more uses for assassinate. They didn't want to scale too hard, which is why you get assassinate DC here. But all the abilities in this tree scale off of assassinate, so be prepared for that. But everything is also wisdom based. So you get a bird, the bird attacks and it does a trip. Causes helplessness as well, so very, very cool. And it has a melee and a ranged version depending on what you're using. You can also get meticulous weaponry, so you can have it so that your weapons don't have item wear, or your bolts come back to you, which is kind of convenient. Also got sprint action boost, which is, again, just convenient. In fact, if you're playing any type of melee, you might just put 1 point in here anyway to have an extra action boost so that you can use that for prowess scaling. Then you got Tear the Flesh, where every time your bird attacks causes a bleed. I don't think this is good, but the bleed lasts for a minute. So if you have it scales up to 10 times, so you can have a 10d6 bleed that lasts for a minute. The damage is kind of good. The problem is, I don't know if you really want a minute bleed. So figure that out. Then you get Strike for the Eyes. It's a bird attack, but instead of causing a trip, it causes a blind. So that's very cool, and it causes them to become helpless if they are blinded. So really powerful. A lot of helplessness here. You also get Conditioning for life, and you get Eyes of the Eagle for True Seeing. So you don't have to worry about having all sorts of True Seeing effects. You've got True Seeing from this tree here. And then next, you've got Tier 4, No Mercy, damaging its helpless opponents, which is good because you're going to make a lot of them. And you have Coordinated Strikes. Coordinated Strikes is you do an attack, and then the bird follows up and does an AoE. So you do an attack, you hit a guy, and then the bird goes and gets him. So if it's in melee, you're hitting a melee, and then the bird gets him. If you're doing an AoE, it's you or like AoE range, you shoot your bow, and then the bird goes and gets them all. It also causes a blind. So it's pretty good. And then finally, Exposed Weakness. Exposed Weakness is super good. It allows your hunting bird to reduce the target's fortification by 50%. This means that you don't need 50% fortification penetration, so you don't need to have items like the Molten Silver Gauntlets anymore if you can't fit that into your build. You don't need to use Grim Precision or Twisted In if you can't fit that into your build. This is very, very powerful, and it affects everybody. So expect Exposed Weakness to be exciting. I wouldn't take Shared Vision, but Immunity Blindness is cool. And then finally, top tier, Dangerous. So if you take this, you're sacrificing all other tier 5s. What do you get? 10 melee and range power. I hope it costs 1. Probably good. I mean, that's good. Mark the Prey. So Mark the Prey is an effect where you hit a guy, and then that guy for 10 seconds takes 10% bonus damage. Is that good enough? I don't know. It sounds good. It's pretty good. But it's only 10 seconds for 10%. I don't know how useful that will be. But if you're already up here, you would take that. Then you got Death from Above. Death from Above is an attack in which your bird swoops down to do an insta-kill. So it's an insta-kill attack with the bird. It does a bunch of bonus damage, no matter what. And then they have to make a Fortitude save, DC 10, character level, wisdom bonus, assassinate bonus, or they die. It has a 1-minute cooldown, but the capstone of this makes it so that if anything else, if you use any other abilities, it causes that to reset. So that's kind of cool. And then you also have Thrill of the Hunt. It's a melee or a ranged attack that heals you for 20% of your total life. It's a good idea. It doesn't really work in Reaper mode at all. So if you're playing in Reaper mode, you probably won't use this. But it's a cool idea. If you're playing as like a Barbarian with 300 healing amp, you can easily hit this and heal for 80% of your health, which is kind of cool. Moving on to Fighter. Stalwart, Defender, Counterattack. No longer takes character level 12. Great. Hedge of Mystic Core. 2 through 5. Now lists the correct amount of melee power. Good. So Draconic Incarnation's Energy Sheath has had its icon. It used to always look like the energy, like the electric energy sheath. Now it looks like what it's supposed to. And the text was fixed because Pulverizer works on hand wraps. Feats, Stunning Blow, Trip, Improved Trip, display their DCs. Woo! That's great. Followers of the more recent deities now probably get damage reduction. Yay! Now you get damage reduction when you hit 20, which you're supposed to. Items. Failing Carnival items have been updated. Following item, there's a bunch of fixes where items gave double strike as well as double shot. Ravenloft set bonus icons and tooltips have been adjusted for clarity. Bug fix. Bug fix. Bug fix. Bug fix. Bug fix. Bug fix. A lot of bug fixes, basically. Text. So yeah, so pretty much a bunch of bug fixes. Prowess now gives 75 melee power instead of 100, which is what it's supposed to. on spell cast damage from Lantern Ring and Resonation and are less likely to ever apply to allies now. That's funny. Golthiah staff is made of wood, so now it's been nerfed. It actually breaks easier. Good job. Worst staff in the game got a nerf. Named items now dropped from the red fens are account bound instead of bound to character. But it's not retroactively applied, so if you have a named item, you got to go get some more. Macabre hand wraps have been brought into line. Yeah, they were bugged. The heroic versions had the epic version's damage dice. Now they are not like that. And the 12 new recipes are from the mysterious remnant vendor, so you can get all these crowns, outfits, the cosmetics, and tricks. You can actually buy tricks now, which is very cool. You get crayfishes. I'm gonna have to get a lot of these. I want the galaxy crayfish. Monsters, mephits don't make loon flapping noises after they're dead. Great. Some work has been done on griffin monsters. Cool. Reapers no longer erroneously slow melee attack speed. So Reapers weren't supposed to slow melee attack speed. They were only supposed to slow ranged attack speed. That was the goal. The melee thing was just, that was a mistake. And so this way, because it was meant to be something that would target ranged players, so this is actually a huge fix. Djinn and Free to Particles now disappear when the monster does, which is good. And Salamanders no longer get stuck facing the wrong way. Didn't know that was a problem. Bunch of bug fixes, a bunch of quests. The biggest thing we're going to talk about is Black Lock. Now, apparently your computer won't crash when you look at the water in the Black Lock, which is kind of cool. Bugs fixes, and a bunch of different quests. Nothing here is super important. Biggest ones, you have the Doppelganger puzzle in Haunted Halls doesn't bug out, or is supposed to bug out less, so maybe it might be completable. I'm excited for that. I do like that quest, but it's hard to do. Yester Hill might actually work and not crash your computer, so that one's pretty cool. Excited for that. The Harpies now come down from Oath of Vengeance, which is nice. And Strahd's Chamber, this is a big one, is in Curse of Strahd, the raid is it's now a no dimension door zone, which means when you go to fight the final part of Strahd, where you got to kill him and his brides, you can't D-door out of there. A lot of people were doing that. You can't do that anymore. And then finally, you got spells. Tool to Heal, Mass has been corrected. Teleport can now go to the lower necropolis, and Greater Teleport, not only can it go to the upper necropolis, but also it has two spells, Greater Teleport Mass, which is still only usable in quests, and Greater Teleport Self, where you can use it wherever you want and use it all the time. So if you want to use Greater Teleport in town, you now can on yourself. Action Boost Haste, that gives its values to ranged characters. The effect Epic Ward no longer displays. Characters can no longer stand on top of rest shrines and resurrection shrines. This is because a lot of people are bugging that out and exploiting stuff. And NPC dialogue is no longer locked to the middle of the screen. It'll instead open in the location of its last close on. This is weird and takes some getting used to. I didn't think it would actually affect me as much as it did, but when I was playing on Lemania and doing some quests, you talk to a guy, and then I'd be like, oh, and I move the box like over here on this side of the screen, and then I go talk to somebody else, and the box is already over there. I'd be like, whoa. Convenient, good, but just a weird change. One change that I think actually got missed, that's kind of big, is the Barbarian change. We're just going to talk about this for a second. So Barbarian got a bunch of updates. On top of that, the actual Barbarian class got changed. Now it's damage reduction. Instead of getting like 1 DR, 2 DR, 3 DR for like a total of, I think, 6 DR or something. Now, instead, taking one level of Barbarian gives you 5% damage reduction to all sources. All damage is reduced by 5% all the time. And then you get plus 1% damage reduction on that. So by Barbarian 20, you have 11% damage reduction. Occult Slayer, instead of giving 1 DR, gives an extra 1%. So it would give you an extra 4% from core 2, 3, 4, and 5, giving you 15% damage reduction. And then you can get an extra 3% out of the Fury of the Wild damage reduction enhancement for a total of 18% damage reduction while a Barbarian. That wasn't in the patch notes. That is in the game, so I figured I would mention it and bring it up here. So hope you guys enjoyed this. My thoughts are here. I personally think this patch is very good. Best things we're going to get out of it. Barbarian, now, like I said, it's shaking up the way that Barbarian is being played. You're going to see a lot more Frenzied Berserkers. You might see some Occult Slayers. I'm definitely going to be trying Occult Slayer. I have an Occult Slayer build I think could be very powerful. Angel of Vengeance is going to be very good. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, especially with this new +2 maximum. Oh, it's +2 maximum cash level. What? No way. So wait. So then each core. So this gives +12 maximum cash level. Oh my god. This gives +12 maximum cash level. Okay. And this gives +3 maximum cash level from the tier 5. So it's +15 your maximum cash level. So Sunbolt's a 15. So that's going to make Sunbolt 30 maximum cash level. And then on top of that, you take Knowledge of Light, I think is what it's called, or Master of Light. the epic feat, which gives an extra 10, so it brings it to a maximum cast level of 40. And if you want to, you can be a magister to get an extra 3, bring it up to 43 maximum cast level. So you have a 43 maximum cast level on this. That's insanity. Now you wouldn't do that because you need the cast level from like Exalted Angel. It's hard to get your actual cast level up that high. With this, you get 20 for being a favorite soul. You get 1 from each of these cores. That's 26. You get 3 from the actual favorite soul enhancement tree up to your cast level. So that is 29. And you get to pick up an extra 6 from Exalted Angel, which is 35. So 35 should be your maximum there. I think you can actually get increased cast level from Magister as a twist, just not maximum. So you might be able to hit 38, but you won't be able to even be able to hit the 40. So damage has gone up. This is a straight up like 30, 40% damage increase. Wow. This is bananas. So get excited for that. And then Beacon of Hope, I think it's going to change up healers entirely. It was so much fun to play, guys. It was so much fun to play. I liked it a lot. War Priest and War Soul are good. Like, are they, Reaper 10 raid good? No. Are they perfectly fine to go from 1 to 20, 1 to 30, and be competent in your Reaper 1 or 2 raids? Absolutely. These are really good now. I highly recommend them. And it's Falconer Tree. You get Falcons, man. I can't wait to try the Falcons. I can't wait to see Falcons everywhere when I log in later today. It's going to be sick. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you had a super awesome experience here. I will be continuing to make more patch note videos as the days go on. So thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I read all comments, including hate comments. No, I read most of them. Drink some coffee.